Hello VC, it's good to be back. This is going to be the first part of a series that I'm going to do about the Israeli Beatles albums. There were many Beatles albums, versions and variations in Israel. I have most of them. But before I will start with the first of them. Please me. I'm going to read you a preview about the Beatles records in Israel. I made this preview for a book that's going to be out next year in 2017. This book is a part of a series that two guys from Europe, Samuel Cummins and Eising. Sam Cummins is from Belgium and Eising is from the Netherlands. They are making a series of books of 45 from around the world, 45 of the Beatles from around the world. And there are now currently 11 volumes that are in the market. And they are doing it by ABC, by the countries. I'll show you the first book, The Insight from Argentina, letter A of course. And you can see many photos of the 45s and lots of information. I think it's the most complete discography that you can find today about the Beatles, at least about 45s. And Argentina, I'll show you Argentina, it's the first one, and then there's the Australian one. And Austria, Belgium, Bolivia, and Brazil 1, and Brazil 2, Bulgaria, Cambodia, and Canada 1, Canada 2, Chile and Colombia, Congo, Costa Rica, Czech Republic, DDR, and Denmark 1, Denmark 2, Ecuador, Egypt, and Finland, France 1, France 2, Germany 1, and Germany 2. So next year it's going to be a volume about Israel, after Hungary and Honduras or whatever. And I've helped them with this volume. And I made a preview. I don't know if they use all the preview that I've written here. It's not long by any means, but I'll read it to you, and I think you'll find it interesting. Hope so, at least. The story of the Beatles record in Israel is very strange and fascinating. From that story, you probably understand why so many versions of Beatles records were out in Israel, and also why so many mistakes were made during their production. It seems that no other country in the world had the opportunity to do it under the official wings of EMI and Apple UK. It all began in 1964, when the concession to manufacture and distribute the records of EMI in Israel was given to the company by the weird name of the Eastern Land of Israel Ltd, ELI. Eli. That was established during the period of the British mandate of the country back in 1934. So, until 1964, no EMI recordings were allowed to be made in Israel, and the Beatles records were imported to the country from abroad by Ali. Therefore, Beatles Israeli records were only manufactured from July 1964, when the Israeli company received the rights to do it from EMI UK. In order to meet the new challenge, Ali struck a deal with another famous recording company in Israel, rarities, to found a new company called Israeli Music Industries, EMI Ltd, IMIE, that its sole business was to distribute the EMI UK records in Israel. The vinyl records themselves were manufactured physically in the record plant of rarities near Tel Aviv. Later, probably for 1965, according to the records that I have, also in the record plant of Israphone in the city of Holon, just south of Tel Aviv. Although there's nothing and no person left from that era to tell us about the exact time of issue of any Beatles records in Israel, We now can estimate that the first record to be made in Israel was the single A Hard Day's Night and the album of the same name on July 1964, the time when they were issued in the UK. This is the reason why previous singles weren't issued in the country before 1964. The second half of 1964, IMIE issued the single I Feel Fine, She's a Woman, and 4 previous EPs, with the exception of the Beatles #1. 2 previous albums from 1963 were also made for distribution here, Please Please Me and With the Beatles. In 1967, Eli acquired the shares of rarities in IMIE, and together with Israphone established Disc, which was only concerned in generate EMI and all its subsidiaries labels in Israel. It is not clear what was the role of IMIE from then onwards. In any case, all these companies have refrained from publishing their identity or the identity of Israel on the labels or the covers of the records in light of the Arab boycott. On January 1971, as a result of EMI UK refusal to continue its engagement with Disc, the franchise was transferred to CBS Israel, a company that was established in the mid-60s in order to manufacture and distribute the American international CBS records in the country. This new franchise became a matter of international importance because Israel was the only country in the world where there was some kind of merger between the rival companies of EMI and CBS. Very, very strange. It's not clear why, but all these years the directors of EMI UK gave their approval to this complex situation and left the Israeli companies to get their way. Maybe it was because Israel was a new state with a small record market, or because many directors were Jewish. In contradiction to other countries, EMI UK didn't examine carefully what was going on with the records in Israel and let the local companies decide on any Beatles and other artists in that matter. For that matter, record versions or variation they thought of, covers, labels, serial numbers, the lot. So the locals took covers from the UK, France, Germany, and more, and put instead of Odeon the Parlophone logo, and so on. They even made their own covers, like the Something Come Together single with the famous crossover picture, but with only 3 Beatles on the front cover, while John Lennon was on the back. There were so few jukeboxes around in Israel, but a small line of compatible 45s were also made here. Although great lamination were added to most covers, no quality check was made to the end product, and that is why so many label mistakes were out on the market, and they are still rare. Anyway, we the collectors of our time gained from this strange course of events. All we can say now, it's quite a story indeed, and now I'm going to show you why it's quite a story, because I'm going to show you the first album of the Beatles, Please Please Me, that was made in Israel in 1964, and the first copy that I have is a laminated original monocopy, PMC 1202. It's a flipback, it's a full flipback, you can see here and here, but not on the side. Still a very nice one. And the record itself is on the yellow Parlophone, and you can see a very strange thing here, feature, that there is a wide ring here, which I've gathered that it's from an old machine that rarities at the plant, the record plant there, and on the first batch of records they made this wide ring. It is similar to the wide ring of the Decca company in the UK that made Beatles records, just few of them. They are very rare in the UK. Also, you can see here the covers of other EMI records that the company IMIE manufactured and distributed back then. in 1964, and you can see also the Please Miss Me, and with the Beatles and other artists like the Shadows, Dave Clark 5, Cliff Richard, Billy J. Kramer. Nice. Mono. Now to this album, I need to show you a very nice feature, also a lyric sheet or a music sheet, especially for Israel. It was made by Israel. You can see from Haifa. From Haifa, it's a city just north of Israel, and it's for Twist and Shout and Love Me Do. And you can see Twist and Shout, Love Me Do, and in Hebrew, Twisted Betzeaka, Ana Evini, the name of the songs, and see the sheet here, sheet paper for Twist and Shout and Love Me Do. It's very rare to obtain. I don't think it was added to the record itself, but it was made during this time. And again, it's very, very rare to find. So we'll go next to basically the same record, the same cover for Please Please Me, and but the difference is, you can see here, this is gray tint, this is much more greener, or maybe basically more natural background or tint, I think. The other things are all the same, except for this kind of color shifting, whatever. It's basically the same. Now the difference, there's no difference in the label, but there's difference in the inner sleeve, which is nylon, and it features in Hebrew. It says here the company, the biggest company record in the world, and it has all the EMI subsidiaries here from Columbia, England, Capitol, England, Stateside, Regal, Parlophone, of course, Odeon, Pathé Marconi, which is a French subsidiary for EMI, and EMI in the middle. So it's special for Israel. The inner sleeve here, nylon one. Now the third copy that I have, also monocopy, basically the same front cover, but the back, you can see different. It's not a full, complete flip back, and there is a bit lamination on the side here. But what is interesting is the label. Now the label here on side 2 has several mistakes. Now I'll show it to you. The first one that I'm going to show you is on side 2, on Do You Want to Know a Secret, McCartney, written in 2 words, Mac and Cartney. I think it's here, McCartney. If you can see here, yeah, McCartney. And the weird one and the funny one is Twist and Shout. You can see Shout, it's written here SCH, yeah, for shout. Strange and funny. The next copy, again at PMC, therefore a monocopy, as a complete flipback, but with flipback on the side, which is again a bit different. But the labels, I think for the first time, as not a wide ring here, but the ordinary narrow ring, and the same mistakes as the previous copy, but they added another mistake, which is the funniest of them all. You all know P.S. I Love You, but here is P.S. I Lol You. P.S. I Lol You. Funny and strange, and when I say lol, laugh out loud. P.S. I lol you. Next is the first stereo copy that I have, and it's again from 1964. Now they haven't made back then special covers for the stereo because there were only few stereo copies that were made. So what they've done, they made a sticker. They put it, they glue it on the mono, and here's the sticker, the gold sticker for Israel. And the same back, complete flip back, very great condition for this copy, and it's a bit different EMI inner cover, and the label. The label is here. It's not wide, but narrow ring, as the ordinary labels around the world. And did they have just a minute? Yes, it's PCS 3042 stereo. You can see the stereo is written here. So this is the stereo copy that I have for the original stereo copy that I have for Please Me. Next is another stereo copy. This time it's a different feature here. Instead of they were made, it's a later copy, of course, in the maybe mid 60s or the late 60s, and now it's written stereo and mono, PMC 1202, but it's not a mono copy, it's a stereo copy, and at the back it's written PMC 1202 and PCS 3042S. Strange and weird. And the I show you the label is again very confusing. It's written here large PMC 1202, which PMC is of course the mono catalog number, but in small one it's PCS. PCS 3042S, and it's you can listen to stereo version of this record, and it's because it has YEX on the matrix here, and it says here stereo mono. Again, very strange for Israel. Another version, as I said, I think from the late 60s. The next copy that I have is the first one that it's not laminated. It's not laminated, mono cover. Now, they didn't bother to put the stereo sticker. They photocopy the cover, the mono cover. They didn't bother to do the sticker, and just photocopy the original one without the lamination with part flipback. And this time it's CBS, as you remember, CBS Israel record. And for CBS they made a new label, the silver black parlophone, but not two EMIs, but just one EMI. It was what was made here for the Beatles at the start of the 70s until the mid-70s. So these copies belong to this time. My next copy is another silver and black one, but this time it's a stereo mono, okay? The same as the other cover that I shown you, but this time, probably because it was CBS now and they didn't want to, the problem with Parlophone, I don't know what, they wiped out, erased the Parlophone logo here. I don't know if any record album or any record in the world that is made like this. I don't think so. And now it's a stereo mono, no flipback at all. It's non-laminated, and PMC 1202 and PCS 3042 without the S, and the same as the mono in size. Okay, and it's the same label here, but it's much more flimsy and elastic because it was made after 1973 in the time of the oil crisis. So this is why it is like a frisbee. My last album for this last copy for Sit With Me in Israel is the label Portrait, which is probably the most strange one that were made in Israel, because I think I have an American portrait for Ringo Starr album, one of his later album, but it's not a label that you see a lot. But in Israel, it was made from the late 70s till the mid 80s for all the Beatles albums. So it's here as PCS 3042 for Portrait, and it's the most elastic and flimsy, and not a very good quality. And again, they erased the Parlophone logo and the same back cover, but it's different here. It says CBS Records now in Israel, and all kinds of notification for Tel Aviv. 9 copies, all different, all I think very interesting, strange. The sound is good for the original one from the 60s, the later one, not a very good one. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this pretty long video. Until next time, until other videos and the next part of With the Beatles, bye-bye from Israel.